All right, KTC, here we go. Another weekly update, actually a training block update as we head into the next training block. So we will talk about where we came from and where we're going to be going in the next month. Before I get to that, though, I want to congratulate everybody who came out on Saturday to take on the triathlon training day. It was great to have company suffering. And hopefully some of you really got a good handle on where your fitness is, what that training stress of swim, bike, run actually feels like. And for those first timers, congratulations, you've completed your first triathlon indoors. It definitely will not be that hot when you get out on the roads. So I know there's a lot of cramping and a lot of looking at what you were doing for nutrition and hydration, which, as we learned the other day on Friday from Dr. Tara, who I also want to send a huge shout out and thanks so much for spending your Friday night sharing your wealth of knowledge on the topic of nutrition and vitamins and minerals and nutrients and hormones and pretty much the gamut. So awesome information there. I will get that video out to anyone who couldn't make that one. But it was awesome to see how many people popped out on Friday as well to attend that. So thank you, Dr. Tara. Thank you for everyone who came out on the Friday and suffered with me on Saturday. So it was one heck of a fun weekend. Fun. So we just finished up February, where we are going to actually finish up the last thing we need to do tomorrow morning, which is the CTS or CSS. It's the same darn thing, 400 for time, 200 for time, figure out your steady state swim pace. So hopefully you're feeling good about the swimming work you put in last month. If not, you have this month. So that will be the last thing to knock off. Then we are heading into March, which in the pool, we're going to be focused on some VO2 max work. So you're going to see some 200s in some of the workouts. Hopefully, actually 150s and 200s. Hopefully to put you in and around the swim duration as hard as you can swim for around the 3-minute mark. And that will hopefully satisfy that. You're also going to see some anaerobic work, some speed work. So you're going to see lots of 25s, workouts with 50s. We're going to try to push that top end up before we really start to stretch it out and hopefully be able to maintain that top end speed for the longer distances as we progress into race season. So we're getting there quickly. Swim as frequently as you can. I will say, if you're an advanced swimmer and you're only swimming twice a week and you're not seeing much improvement, that's normal. So you're probably not going to get much better off of 2 swims. That's going to be a good maintenance frequency. 3 swims, you might start to see some improvement. 4 swims, 5 swims, then you're going to start to see some bumping up. But frequency does matter in the pool. If you're a beginner swimmer, you can definitely see improvements in 2 swims a week. 3 swims, even better. And again, same idea. The more frequency you can put in the pool, because it's such a technical sport, the better off you'll be, or the quicker improvement you will see. And because there's such a kinesthetic awareness that's required in swimming, this feel of the water, that frequency is all that more important, even more so than the bike and the run. But when you're trying to fit it all in around your busy life schedule, work schedule, family, other commitments, I know that is incredibly difficult. So, it is what it is. Do the best that you can, and hopefully we can still see some progress as we move through the program. Bike, we are going to be finishing up some VO2 max work and then taking it more into threshold. So this is going to be a big threshold boost block. That is going to be the main focus. We're going to be working above and below, again, starting with some VO2 max and then moving more into threshold work with the purpose, hopefully, of pushing up that FTP, which we're going to go back and do another time trial at the end of the month at 20K on the same loop we normally do. So if you made the last one, you can see improvement, and we should be able to get a nice little FTP out of that as well. And of course, aerobic endurance, which tends to happen on the weekends. However, Friday, I have made it more as an easy ride because we do have quite a bit of intensity in all 3 disciplines really. So we probably don't need any more hard efforts, and you can take Friday a little bit more chill if you've been throwing in some rides on Friday. Running, we're going to be working power, anaerobic capacity. So again, you're going to see some shorter intervals. That is really going to push up the speed. So lots of fast running, short efforts, and then we'll throw some hills in there to work some of the power. And then, of course, our long runs, which will continue going. Modify anything in this program that you need. It is, I will say, on the heavy side or programmed to, I'll say, the highest common denominator-ish. So for a lot of you, it will be a lot to try to fit in, and again, around your busy life. Feel free to mix and mash, and I'll flip over to Training Peaks in a second and show you how you can do that, but you really need to make it work for you. Strength, we're going to start building towards muscular endurance. So we're going to be decreasing the weight and increasing the reps. So moving from muscular strength to your muscles' ability to contract repeatedly for a prolonged period of time, which is pretty much what you're doing in the sport of triathlon. Once we finish up with some muscular endurance, we will shift into some more power work, which should, hopefully give you a little bit more explosiveness, up your power number even more, increase your stride length a little more, and if you can hold the water well, maybe make your swimming a little bit faster too. The run, we're going to be doing some testing at the end of this month, and like I said, I threw in a little time trial as well, so we will get some bike testing in there as well. So jumping out of that, looking at Training Peaks here, day by day, still have Monday as a recovery day. Tuesdays are swimming. As I said, we're going to kick it off with a little CTS test set. We are going to be doing everybody on Tuesday, so I will be splitting the test set up for the 6 a.m. just because it's such a big group, but do plan on doing that tomorrow morning. Hopefully you're feeling good. If not, you're welcome to push it off and do it on another day, but if you show up tomorrow, you will have to do something. As mentioned, muscular endurance for the strength, so decreasing the weight to about half of what you were lifting. If you were doing heavy weight with 3 reps, this is about 50% of your 1 rep max, so I'll say, that's why I say about half. It might be a little bit heavier, but you're going for 20 reps and you want to be able to complete those 20 reps. So you will really have to decrease the weight, and you can increase your lifting pace as well to about 1 and 1. So 1 second up, 1 down. So it's going to be a little quicker. Again, more simulating the contractile speed of what you might be doing running or cycling. So you will see that across all the strengths. Nothing changes as we move through this block. And then, as I said, with the weekday swims, lots of short sets, 25s, 50s, and VO2 max, 150s and 200s. So you're going to see that all the way down for that pushing up the top end. As I skip around a little bit here, I'm going to stay on the topic of swimming. Saturday, these are going to be some longer endurance swims. So we are going to finish off this week going back to that first workout of 2 400. See if we've made any progress on those 400 times. From what I can see from most of you, you should see an improvement, whether you remember what you swam those or not. Geez, we're looking at, 8 weeks ago? So hopefully we see some improvement in that end. And then we're going to be doing some longer sets, starting with a 600 and then, or 600s actually. And then we're going to be bumping it up 800s and then 1000. So expect to go quite a bit longer on the weekend. We will keep some toys in there to hopefully keep it somewhat interesting, but we're definitely going to be building out some of the endurance. The Wednesdays, again, these are big days, and Fridays are big days. You're more than welcome. Pick and choose one or the other if you like, if it's a little too much. But we are going to be hitting some anaerobic power, so some short intervals that will build, so 30 seconds, and then jumping up to 45, and then 1 minute. So that 1 minute definitely will push into that feeling of anaerobic territory as you're sprinting as fast as you can on the treadmill or outside if you take it outside. Then we're going to take that workout, add in some hills, so that'll work a little bit of power. And, sorry, there we go. Sprint, power, and we're going to alternate them. Hopefully round 2, as we move through this block, goes better than round 1. So there will be some repetition that you'll be able to compare, and hopefully you see either mastery or performance improvements as we move through the training block. For biking, as mentioned, we're going to start with some VO2 max work, some 3-minute intervals, which then we're going to take into threshold VO2 max. This one's one of my favorite workouts, actually. Most of you have done this one before. Maybe not be your favorite. Doing threshold up to VO2 max and then trying to come back to threshold and holding it, which is the hardest part. And then we're going to just stay in threshold, where we're going to build through the threshold zone and finish it off with a good 20K time trial on our ocean lava cliffside loop that we typically do. So that will be the Wednesdays. Fridays, we're going to build out some tempo intervals. As you know, Friday tempo, especially 10-minute tempos, you're going to get used to those. A lot of the racing intensity that we do from sprint to half Ironman is going to be in the tempo intensity, and we will spend quite a bit of time dialing that in. And it's really nice to really push, you're getting the biggest bang for your buck in terms of training stress. Working in the tempo intensity or sweet spot is a term you may also hear. So we're going to build that from 5 to 7 to 10, and then we'll build out the 10 minutes. Again, you can modify these and cut them back as needed, but that's what we're throwing in there for now. As mentioned, Friday is going to be a little easier ride because of all the intensity. So feel free, if you are doing any additional riding, keep it nice and easy. And then the weekend, we're going to be switching it up, modify the distances as needed for the bike and the run. And we're going to mix up some of the intensities on these, or I shouldn't say intensities. We're going to play with intensities. We're going to play with hills. We're going to play with, actually, that's really all we're going to play with. Distance. So a little bit of intensity on the bike this week, stretching out the run nice and long. Again, cut that back. If you're only running, say, an hour, do not do 2 hours and 22 minutes. So maybe an hour 15 might be a good little bump for this one. So knock these back as you see fit. And you can easily do that by coming into the workouts. Click on the blue bars, and you can just decrease these down to whatever makes sense for you. Maybe only 4 would be good, or you can bring them up. So it has that flexibility as you want to move things around. If you're on the premium, you can drag and drop to other days too if you need to reschedule things. So then we're going to play with some... Again, this one's just going to be endurance. This one, we're going to add some hills in there, hopefully switch up the route a little bit. And then we're going to work some over-geared work, endurance, long again, playing with intensity. So anyway, we're going to mix up the weekends a little bit more until we get to our recovery week, recovery testing week. So at the end this week, the main focus will be hitting either a 5K, 10K, or half. If you're only at the 5K distance, that would be great. You could set a nice FTP off of that. If you want to push it up, you've already done a 5K last time. You want to hit a 10K or even beyond that. A good little test to see where run fitness is at. Again, make sure you don't jump too much. As you recall from JS presentation, injuries come by doing too much too soon or changing something too much too quickly. So really pay attention to the training stress, really listen to your body. As we get closer and closer into race season and you want to push more and more, your body needs to be in charge. So it has nothing to do with being, mind over matter. I'm going to push through because guess what? Your body will ultimately be the decider, and whether your brain listens to it and you bring it down and allow that recovery to happen. If you don't do that, your body will make that happen whether you want to or not, and it will either do it through injury or it will do it through overtraining syndrome, which is basically low energy that won't come back for months. So if you tip over that edge and get injured or overtrained, expect you're not popping back very quickly, and you can lose seasons. I have done it myself, so trust me. Learn from my mistakes and many of your teammates' mistakes. This is a very big block. It's 4 weeks of work. I plan to bring my training stress down probably after the second week, maybe in this kind of middle range, and then bring it back up again. So again, listen to your body. It will tell you what you need to do if you listen. So that is my spiel on listening to your body, applying the appropriate training stress. making this work for you, and it will require some modifications because by no means, as I've said many a time, is this a personalized plan, but just a collection of workouts for hopefully the purposes that I've explained and what we were trying to achieve. We're still kind of building a lot of top end, pushing up threshold work, and about getting ready to start really shifting into hopefully extending that for longer and longer. So that is it for this time. I hope to see you in the pool bright and early tomorrow or dark and late. And until next time, take care. Have a great night. Bye-bye.